And we're flying into hour number 2. It is Coach, together with you, on the morning show, filling in for Hal on AM 540 KRXA. Thanks so much for being a part of the program today. I want to say hi to all the Facebook friends and all of you logged on to KRXA540.com. And I want to welcome, without further ado, one of the more fascinating 540 friends, a gentleman who I've known for a few years. And I invited him to be on the program just because, like so many of you, I just enjoy hearing what he has to say, particularly when he calls into Hal's show and the other programs as well, but he just speaks his mind. And I think you're going to find him a fascinating guy. Fred, welcome to the program. I know you're starting to get a little home. You don't like the big build-up, do you?
Thanks, Coach. Now this is something different. I have a feeling I'm going to be interrogated today.
You will not be interrogated. We have got the waterboarding all set for you. Don't worry about it. No, it's... First of all, let's go back to when you first kind of became acquainted with what Hal was doing here at AM 540.
I was driving a work truck coming into Seaside, and I saw this little, I don't know if it was a Datsun or whatever, it was a little green or blue sedan, and I had 2 kids in the back seat.
Excuse me, Fred, that's a BMW. It's not a Datsun.
No,
Come on.
It was a long
And
time
it's very
ago.
fuel efficient for those of you who are concerned. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Whatever it was. I saw a KRXA sticker, and I just happened to have Ed Schultz on it. I just found Ed Schultz, and I was listening to Ed Schultz, and we were stopped at the signal light, and I called over to the car. I says, "Hey, I like your bumper sticker. That's a good station. I'm looking to listen to Ed Schultz right now." He goes, "Really? Well, I'm glad." He says, "I own that station," and that was the end of that. But that's where I first met Hal on the road.
That's pretty amazing. So you were listening, you saw the bumper sticker, made the connection, because that's right when he first started out, pretty much.
Pretty much. But I tuned in and caught Ed Schultz, and I really liked what Ed Schultz was saying, and that's when I saw the bumper sticker. I got kind of excited.
Freddie is one of the bigger Ed heads out there. In fact, you had a chance to see him a few years ago when he made an appearance in the East Bay.
That's correct. There was a barbecue that he came to, and he gave us a nice speech, and he was talking about the TV show that he possibly was going to be involved in, which now he's taken off, and he's doing a great job.
Yeah, you like to catch that program all the time, huh?
I do, yes.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we invited Ed today. He will not be joining us at Jim's Restaurant in Seaside, which is at 1584 Del Monte Boulevard. However, I believe we do have his credit card, so he's going to be picking it. No, I'm kidding. He's not picking up the tab.
You do have Hal's.
Oh yeah, right. That would be the day. That's for sure. So let's fast forward. You started calling into the station. You and I had a chance to meet once. I believe it was like at one of those peace protests or something like that.
That is correct. I met you down at the Windows of the Bay, and I'd heard about you, and I asked somebody, I says, "This guy Coach, is he around?" I said, "Yeah, he's right here." So I got to meet you, Coach, and from then on we kind of took off, and I found out you were the coach at NPC, and back in the old days I played football at NPC. So
24 pop pass.
That's it, buddy.
I know. In fact, once a Lobo, always a Lobo. But no, it's great. I always think when I have a chance to, well, so many of the listeners, but particularly, I go, gosh, you got a guy like Fred listening to us. Something's going right. And you find yourself at times questioning why it is, or if you fit in listening to the station.
Well, I'm not really a liberal. I'm a little different. Coach, you are, and Billy Sunshine, and Q for sure, and a few of the others, great band. We're a little different than the regular liberals.
Oh, don't sell yourself short.
No.
You are a lot different.
Yes, you're right. We're a little more aggressive, and I'd like to see the liberals get a little more passionate and get involved a little more.
A little more involvement, a little less passive, sitting it out type of thing, huh?
Yes, because we got a war ahead of us. The Republicans are all lockstep. They're all programmed the same. And I looked around at the party out there, and we're all getting old. And we need some young liberals to come in here and take off. We've got a couple, but we need a lot more because we're getting kind of out of, we're getting out of the game here.
No, you're right about that. This is Fred joining us. You're listening to AM 540 KRXA. Coach in for Hal. And one of the things that you do to get involved, one of the stories I'm going to ask you to share with us is how you got involved in the neighborhood. There was a problem taking place on your street. Please explain the situation, if you would, about getting some speed humps installed on your roadway.
Well, I've been on that street for, it's getting close to 30 years now. And we've helped a lot of people that were involved in accidents on that street because we have some really bad curves there. And the young people especially are going around there way too fast over the years. They're crashing their vehicles, totaling the cars, going to the hospital. And we've pulled a lot of people out of these accidents, and it's just getting old. And my family was pulling out of the driveway one morning, and this guy was coming about 80 around the curve, lost it, and they had just gotten out of the way, and he come crashing into my fence. And now he was the second one to crash into my fence. Car's totaled, and my family almost got wiped out. And I decided that something had to be done. So on the third one it came in, it was a little 16-year-old girl that crashed into my wall, and she was unconscious and airlifted up to the trauma center. And I contacted the neighbors on the street because we've all been hit, and we all got a petition, and we contacted our supervisor. And we had 3 meetings. The third one he didn't come to, and he just kind of dropped us, and we couldn't get any enforcement. Monterey PD wouldn't no longer enforce the radar. The highway patrol made a few passes through, and they didn't do anything. And so all the young kids knew that they could just drive that road real fast. And so after the little gal crashed, I called up Jerry Smith on the 4th District. I said, Jerry, because I went to school with Jerry, I said, you know, I got a problem. I can't get anything done. And what do you think? I explained to him what the problem was. He said, well, drop off your stuff. So I dropped off a bunch of pictures from the crashes and all the letters I got from the residents and stuff. And about 6 months later, we got 2 speed humps put in. And that was from Jerry Smith. He was a great, fantastic supervisor. And I just want to give thanks to him once again. He's now deceased, but what a shame. We lost a really good supervisor.
Always heard nice things about Jerry Smith. You're listening to Fred, and I asked him a question about how he got involved in, well, Fred, you're what my mom would refer to as a rabble rouser. And that's a compliment because that's somebody who just doesn't sit around and just complain about stuff. For example, you had a big problem in the neighborhood. Kids not yet killed, but serious problems. You went around, kind of organized the situation. You didn't give up when they tried to frustrate you, and that's pretty much the thing. Don't you get a lot of gobbledygook, double talk, BS coming your way when you're doing what you're trying to get accomplished?
I certainly do. I'll try to get these politicians to do something. I'll tell you, unless you have some people behind you in a crowd, they're gonna listen to you. They're gonna give you the song and dance, and then they're gonna drop you. So unless you can create a crowd and keep stirring, and when they say no, I want to know why. And so I have some other issues that I need some help on, and one of them is the bay and the pollution in the bay. And I've tried my best to try and get something going with these local politicians, but they're very comfortable, and they don't want to stir up the mayors and the cities because of these sewer problems and stuff. And I need some help. So I'm asking some of you listeners out there to get involved. Let's push some of these guys, these politicians, and see if we can't get the bay cleaned up. It is a sanctuary.
That's one of the reasons I wanted you to come on in here this morning, Fred, was I hear you talk, and a lot of times you'll call and question Bill Monning. You and I, we get together almost every morning. We're part of the 4 a.m. coffee crew down there at the Alliance, and it's a lot of fun. In fact, we got to send a shout out to Mike. Did I understand Mike was taking the day off from work so he could have a chance to listen to the program today?
That is incredible. I can't believe that. He would do that.
I think he's going to want a refund, or he might be scampering to get to work saying, oh, wait a minute, what's the half-day policy there? But no, Mike, always good to have you out there. You know Mike a long time.
For a while. He was very quiet when he first started coming in. He was in the military for, 30 years or whatever. He served this country. And Mike, once again, I want to thank you for your service. You're a great guy, and you have really loosened up, and we've become good friends. And I really appreciate what all you have to offer, too, because you and the Fonz and Tim, now Coach, we solve the problems first thing in the morning. So thanks, Mike.
It's a little bit of a coffee drink tank as we get together down there. Everybody's got a different option. Of course, when Fred starts talking, it makes a lot of sense to me. Let's turn it back to the Bay and your concerns about what's happening there. We have a situation where probably a couple times a month, we have beach closures, either over at Stillwater Cove or right there at beautiful Lovers Point. Last month it was Monterey Municipal. Let's have your take on it. What's going on? Why is this happening, Fred?
Well, every summer I notice we get a lot of beach closures, and it usually happens in the summer. So I contacted Mr. Monning, trying to get him involved, and I contacted the Dan Courts, the ex-mayor of PG, and I've contacted the Fish and Game, the head guy here in Fish and Game, and I'm asking him, why can't we do something? What's being done or what's not being done? And I get the runaround. It's the raccoons going in the storm drains and doing their little potties in there, people pouring oil down the storm drains, and then the rain washes it out in the bay, and that's where we get the pollution. But the closures are on bacteria, and I don't think there's that many raccoons over there. But I do know that Pacific Grove, Monterey, and Carmel and some of them have some really old sewer systems, and they keep breaking down, and that's where we're getting the bacteria out there. And in the summertime, we're not getting the rains that flush out the drains. So I don't think they're correct on that. I think they're just avoiding the issue, and I think we need to all get involved to clean up our sanctuary.
I think you're right, and that's one of the things that I wanted to discuss today. So you've talked to the politicians, so far non-responsive. I've heard some of your calls on the morning show when Bill Monning joins Hal on Mondays. And you've asked the question, but you don't believe he's been able to answer it to the best of your understanding or an answer that you're comfortable with.
Well, I get the runaround from these guys, and I wish that they would get involved. I mean, but I know that they got to step on the mayor. And stepping on the mayor is now you're stepping on one politician on the other, and it just kind of, I guess it's kind of frustrating, and they get comfortable in their positions. And I talked to Fish and Game. I said, why don't you get involved in threatening to cite these cities? I mean, they're polluting our bay. And the head guy here at Fish and Game said he is going to send a letter up to his superiors and see if something can't be done about that. So I don't know where that's going.
So you're taking a different strategy with I Like. You're kind of going to another entity, another organization, in this case Fish and Game, trying to get some answers there.
Well, I mean, they do write tickets for people that do a lot of things less than pollute the bay, and I think that sometimes, Coach, when you're playing football, you keep running up the middle and you don't get anywhere. You got to go outside.
I love it.
And
Sometimes,
so,
all the time. The attack offense. It's Fred along with Coach. You're listening to AM 540 KRXA. We are going to take some phone calls at 831-899-5792. Good morning. Who's joining us? Hello, Yvette. Yvette, my friend, how are you, dear? I'll tell you what. We're going to talk a little. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Hold on a sec, all right? We'll do that. Okay, that's my friend Yvette joining us a little bit. Maybe Marie, if you could get that phone number on line 1 for me, that would be awesome. Hi, good morning. Welcome.